welcome back, guys, to another episode of the Traveling Bee. Here I am in beautiful Mobile, Alabama, aboard the USS Drum SS-228, a Gato-class submarine, or Gato, however you want to pronounce it. We're going to go below deck, give you a little bit of a tour, and then we're going to hop over to the old famous USS Alabama battleship, a South Dakota class. Stay tuned, guys. All right, guys, we're back. We're in the forward torpedo room surrounded by Mark 14 torpedoes. There are 4 tubes aft, 6 tubes forward of the vessel. Like I said, this is where some of the crew would have been stored, especially during a drill or sending torpedoes forward during an actual engagement while on the hunt with a convoy. All right, guys, now we're a little bit further into the vessel. We've got here the officer's pantry, which would have been somewhat similar to a very small galley for enlisted men like you're normally used to. Here's a 2-man stateroom for officers. Some of your divisional officers would have stayed here. As you can see, it's 2-man bunks. You have your sink that comes down. You've got all your storage for your materials right in here as well. Over here, we have the wardroom, or officer's mess, if you will. Your skipper, XO, and other divos would have been here, eaten here, had meetings here. Pretty compact space for quite a few men. I'm going to head back a little bit further here. Next, we would have had 2 more officer staterooms for probably 2 more divisional officers as well. Nice little pull-down desk and a sink as well with 2 other racks. I'm going to keep walking here just a bit. Now in this one's a little more complete. Here we have 3-man stateroom for officers, more divisional officers. As you can see, a larger cupboard, if you will, another pull-down sink, and 3 racks this time high instead of just 2. And last but not least, here you have Captain Gilmore's office. This would have been his quarters. Like I said, he has a really nice desk, as you can see here. The man was also awarded the Navy Cross, the Legion of Merit, and what looks to be a Bronze Star. Don't have too much information on him, but definitely looking forward to researching him a bit more. We got 1 more room as we're going a little bit through officer country here. And last but not least, we've got 5 racks here for your chief petty officers. All your E7 through E9s, you probably would have had the chief of the boat that would have stayed in here as well. As you can see, a little spacious, but 2 high on one side of the bulkhead and 3 high on the other side. Now we're in the nerve center of this here vessel. We're in the con. Above us is the conning tower, as you can see, where your sub-drivers would have sat, where you would have controlled your bow planes, your stir planes, rudder, pretty much anything you can think of in here. This is just, like I said, the nerve center of this sub. Like I said, all your officers would have been here, the skipper, the cob, the XO, pretty much all your main interior electrical systems, switches, gauges, everything that runs the rest of the sub. Like I said, this is the hub. Your periscopes would have been in here, which you would have gone to periscope depth to look at surface contacts, which sonar would have picked up as well. Now we're in the crew berthing. If you want to find somewhere to sleep, they're about 3 high and they're triced up. Good old racks here. Crew berthing, like I said, you would have had as many men as you could have in here. Some were sleeping and some were on watch. I guess they would have probably hot racked during this time, meaning one man jumps in another man's steam. The other man was on watch, jumps in the rack, the man will sleep, then goes on watch, so forth and so on. This room has been kind of gutted for, of course, modernization to keep an air system in here and heating. But this room probably would have been packed full during the war. Now we're in the aft engine room. As you can see, we got 2 large diesel engines here. The sub also could run on electric power, making an electric diesel boat. Surface you would have run on one power, and while submerged you would have run on another, depending on how much battery power you had, and depending on what type of operations you were running, depending on how you wanted to run silently or run on the surface. Now we're in the galley. Hope you guys are hungry. This is where all the food was served up for the crew. As you can see, the old flat top grill's got some breakfast going here. Very small space, but a lot of food on subs I heard was extremely good. As you can see behind you, you've got quite a bit of space here for small amounts of crew. They probably would have had to go in shifts, if I'm not mistaken, just due to the fact that large crew, small amount of space to eat. But this is definitely where you've gone to maybe play some games, get away from a bit of action if you're on recreation, and definitely eating your breakfast, lunch, and dinner here as well if you weren't on watch or trying to catch some Z's. Right. Now we're in the maneuvering room. You would have had an AC generator and a DC motor. As you can see, all these bells and whistles and switches here. A lot of levers. Contain a lot of your auxiliary power, especially to the electrical systems. Like I said earlier, you had a diesel motor and you had an electrical one. This probably would have been one of the rooms that was used mainly for a lot of your power supply and sources to a lot of these assets aboard the vessel. Last but not least, guys, we are in the aft torpedo room. As you can see, there's 4 torpedoes astern here. We're surrounded by more torpedoes, and as you can also see, more racks. A lot of non-essential crew would have been bunked here, and they also would have hot racked as well. I know during like a diving drill, non-essential personnel would have been sent into here. If you ever watched the movie Das Boot, you see a lot of crew that head into those spaces, forward and aft torpedo rooms, where there's not a whole lot going on during a diving drill. So that's all I've got for you guys today. Thank you for joining me aboard the USS Drum SS 228. Or is it 238?
228.
It is 228. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. All right, guys, we're aboard BB-60 USS Alabama, commissioned August 16th, 1942. It is one of the 4 South Dakota classes, including the South Dakota, Indiana, Big Mammy, Massachusetts, if you will. And then, of course, here we are aboard the Alabama. Big Mammy's still around, and, of course, Alabama's still around. Unfortunately, Indiana and the South Dakota no longer exist. I don't have much time, unfortunately, to film below deck. We're just going to kind of hit around topside here, forward and aft. Hopefully I can come back another time when the weather's a little bit warmer, because I'm actually kind of cold, and we go below deck when I have more time. But as always, keep charging, like, subscribe, comment, hit the bell for notifications, and I will see you guys soon.